Welcome to the semi-finals of the GSL Code S Season 1. We're in the bottom left-hand corner, starting off this particular best of 5 by sending out a probe. You know him, you love him. We have none other than herO. All the way in the upper right, playing with the blue Terran pieces, we have one of the very best Terran versus Protoss players on the planet. We're looking inside of the main base of Cure. Now what's that probe up to? Are we just gonna scout? Yeah, I think this is just herO starting the series off by being a bit of a jerk. And that really is his go-to playstyle. herO really enjoys being as obnoxious as he possibly can be. Now, keep in mind that, yes, we do make fun of herO's decision-making every once in a while, especially when he's playing one of the, say, like the smaller weekly tournaments. He does tend to clown a little bit. But I've noticed that whenever he plays these big, important matches, so the GSL, it has a prize pool of $15,000, so obviously he's going to try his absolute best. Usually, whenever there's a lot of money on the line, suddenly we are looking at a very different herO. One who still has all of the craziness, but who will be significantly more crisp with his execution. So that's what I'm expecting here. He's going to need it as well against Cure. Cure's actually... So here's the thing about Cure. I'm personally a little bit conflicted by it. Because I think Cure is a phenomenal TVP player. Like, his Terran versus Protoss is world class. It's just, and this is 100% personal, it's just a really boring playstyle. I don't really enjoy watching the Cure games very much, because oftentimes what he does is he sits there and he turtles. And then he turtles some more. And he turtles some more. And then eventually he moves out, but for the most part, he is just going to be turtling. And I don't really know if that's what we're going to be getting in this particular match, but I am expecting, well, Cure to pull that off at least a couple times, especially on a map like Old Republic, where you can actually, play the more laid-back approach. I've seen quite a few Terran versus Protosses on this particular map, where Protoss takes, like, maybe 3/4 of the map, and Terran is just sitting in their starting corner, and somehow, some way, it still turns out to be a Terran victory. Cure is really somebody who's on the forefront when it comes to that particular playstyle. And obviously, he's not always played like this. He has been a lot more active as well over the years, but at least in the games I've seen him play recently, it seems that he believes that the very best approach to currently playing against Protoss as a Terran is to play the more passive one. So we'll see. Ooh, Robo first. Robo first versus concussive shells first. Interesting. It's going to be very difficult for either player to scout this. So obviously concussive shells is going to hit nice and early. I don't know if Cure is really planning on using it offensively though. He might just want to try and grab that very first adept kill or potentially even a stalker. But judging by the fact that this is a robo first, we'll have to keep an eye out as well on what herO decides to go for. I would say out of all the tech options that Protoss has, maybe like 90% of the time, it's a Twilight Council as their very first tech structure. Then like 9% of the time, it is going to be a Stargate. Very rarely does it seem to be a Robo facility first. So what exactly are we going to do? It's done now. Obviously, we could go Immortal. Yep. And this is honestly a perfect choice against a Marauder opener. We could also follow this up with a Warp Prism, which would make this even more perfect. Quite literally all the units here that Cure is making at this point in time, so the Marauders and then also the Cyclone on the back of this, they are weak to the Immortal, and obviously if you then put it inside of a Warp Prism as well, well, you end up being in a world of trouble. This is a build as well that Cure has been playing a little bit more lately, and I'm sure that herO has seen it. Look at it, he decides to go Robo Facility into Immortal. Okay, now he has seen as well what he's going up against. One of the Stalkers will die. But the Prism was already on the production tab after the Immortal was done, before he knew that this was the case. Look at these lads walking hand in hand. Aw, I've never seen Marauders walking hand in hand before. That's beautiful, man. Aw, that was cute. All right, well, I don't know how much longer it will be cute for, as herO is on the hunt. He may very well be planting down a third Nexus, as he indeed does, but he's got himself 3 gateways. He's got a Prism as well, so he can very quickly reinforce this. Is there simply enough here for Cure to defend? There is no bunker available just yet. Going to be difficult to finish it as well. We do have a single siege tank, so that's nice. Prism is going to arrive very soon. Yep, that Marauder is also going to fall. No more walking hand in hand for you. But at least you both get to die together. And you know what? There's something to be said for that. Adepts are going to try and shade forward. Siege tank, yep, indeed, goes up towards the high ground behind the safety of the wall. This could be huge, though. This could be massive. He decides to commit, mostly now to allow that Immortal to close the distance onto the siege tank. Say goodbye to the Cyclone as well. We got to pick it up. We got to pick it up. Nicely done right there by Protoss. And even though the Warp Prism is in a little bit of trouble, the Marines try their absolute best. This has not been too terrible. In the meantime, though, there was a single Reaper being microed as well by Cure, putting in a decent bit of damage. Recall has been used right now onto that Prism to bring the Immortal back home, but 6 confirmed kills? Maybe 7? Oh, not bad. A lot of damage being done right there with just a single Reaper, but as the dust settles here, this is significantly better for Protoss still. Not only did he kill more workers, he also got himself a 3rd base, and it's done. For the foreseeable future now, Cure is gonna have to sit back and basically just be a bit of a punching bag. He would love to, maybe add on like another command center here, but he doesn't really know what's happening on the other side of the map. The Reaper was too busy working away at those workers that it did not scout the timing of the 3rd base. Man, imagine if herO did not just lose 6 probes as well to a single Reaper. It's kind of crazy, actually, how much value that one little guy got. Honestly, this would have been an overwhelming advantage already. Anyways, don't lose the Prism, especially not with an Immortal inside of it. Even though the name of the unit is Immortal. It's a lie. Charge, moments away from finishing up. 5 additional gateways added into the mix as well. herO is going to try and see if he can lay down the law. Now, he does need to add on another pylon. Starts up the +1 attack. What he really needs is to start up another pylon. Yeah, now we have all these gateways, but he can't use them all because he's supply blocked. Now he starts up a pylon? Okay. Weird. Well, I guess one way to open up supply is to YOLO forward with the army. Prism in the main base, going after the siege tank. It immediately falls. 5 SCVs end up going down as well. Observers got all army hotkeyed as well, right here to the front lines. And indeed, now with the, well, supply freed up, we're gonna be charging forward yet again. This time around, though, there's a lot of Marine Marauder here available from the main base. Yeah, and don't count Cure out in a situation like this, man. herO hitting a supply block there is a really big error. And he may very well pay the price. Prism is just gonna be able to slither away, it seems, but it's a lot of expensive units still falling. Oh, careful, 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 careful. Wait a second. Oh, no. We could have just kept flying. Wait a second. What are we doing now? Cure doesn't really have a lot of medevacs, but he's got a few of them charging forward here. Did herO just throw a game? That was so incredibly ambitious by him. Cure had to use multiple stimpaks in order to, well, pull this sort of thing off. Okay, herO trying to make the transition now towards Colossi. It's gonna be a while, though, until they are ready to go. Cure also trying to now think about what his next best move is. He decided to start up a 3rd command center in the meantime at home. Okay, still grabbing a few of those kills because of the early concussive shells. Yeah, you can't really commit very easily when you have only 2 medevacs and not a lot of energy and a lot of HP on those units. And herO right now reads that as well, decides to immediately plant down a Nexus over on the left side of the map too. Okay, so a very spicy game thus far. A significant blunder. So just remind yourself in your next game, whenever you hit a supply block, that you could have been a pro gamer. Yeah, pro gamers hit supply blocks apparently, even at the absolute highest level. So therefore, you could also become a pro gamer. Yeah, all it takes is getting supply blocked. Maybe a midpoint, that is hard to say. Anyways, 2nd fort right now added into the mix. Nexus over on the left side, and we have a gigantic club of zealots. Is it a club? A murder of zealots. We have a swarm of zealots ready to charge in. Widow Mines, though, getting some decent detonations. And here's the secondary squad for Cure. Okay, Marauder slipped through the cracks. The force fields are not quite perfect. Decides to ferry the units as well across the force fields. And he's just jumping straight on top of all of these Protoss units. Say goodbye to the Colossus. Dude, Cure! It's like Cure decided, you know what, this game is lost anyways. Let me just try and pull off a bunch of crazy tricks. And can you believe it? It's actually working out. He's dealing so much damage with the units that he's got over the last few minutes. It did require some mistakes as well on the side of the Protoss, but Cure really is making the best out of this really bad situation that he found himself in. Okay. He couldn't quite afford the +2 armor. We do not have a second engineering bay even. Third command center though has now finally landed on the low ground. herO lost 4 probes, or 14 probes rather, but the Nexus still lives. We have another base as well over here on the left side. Some Vikings coming up too. And apparently Cure has decided that indeed the gloves are off. Yeah, maybe the passive style is what he's known for lately, but it is not what is going to be needed in this particular instance. More Marines and Marauders have run across the map as well. Viking trying to just get some free shots in. The Nexus itself is starting to run low now. +2 attack here for the infantry units is going to finish up as well momentarily. Oh, another Colossus. Nicely done there by Cure. Dude, what a game. What a way to start off a best of 5. In truth, though, this game was in the bag for herO until it wasn't. Right? Like, he secured a very significant lead and then got supply blocked and decided to commit to another push anyways. That's a mistake. Overconfidence is a slow but insidious killer, as I have learned many times by playing Darkest Dungeon. Great game, by the way. But the narrator does like to remind you that triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall. Curious is the Trapmaker's art. His own efficacy unwitnessed by his own eyes. Beautiful game. Anyways, maybe herO should try out that game for yeah, a couple hours. Just to figure out the details. Nah, it's a mistake, but it happens. He wanted to do a slam dunk victory. Did not quite get the job done. He might still be able to, though, because there's still a lot of production. Worker-wise, though, this game has been evened up a lot. Not that long ago, Protoss was leading by like 50% workers. 50% more workers, that is. Now, well, Cure is actually totally fine. Fires up a 4th command center. He's already halfway through a proper transition towards Liberators. Ghost Academy added into the mix as well. I like everything that Cure is doing here. Base over at the bottom. Got ourselves a 6 o'clock expansion coming up. Robo facility number 2 right now as well here for herO, who has been double upgrading for a while. Yeah, herO always has this like aura that he's got, right, when he's walking around the map like he owns the whole place. But this game really is not as comfortable as he makes it look. There is a secondary group of zealots as well on the right side. Little Marine hit squad. This could be huge. This could really, yeah, even the odds. It's got also force a recall. Oh, nicely done by Cure. Cheeky little run by. 11 probes, though, is huge. Right now, the worker count is dead even. But, of course, Terran has access to mules. Okay. Liberators and Ghosts. The ultimate combination of late-game units for Terran. We have some Vikings added into the mix as well. Cure now really stepping his foot on the gas. He knows he cannot really give herO too much wiggle room. Creating a chokehold right now on this base. Good save on the Stalker, but I think that this Nexus itself is in a world of trouble. Zealot run-by might be nice, but I think the Nexus is indeed going to fall. Probes hiding in the meantime in the upper left, and here we have the Protoss army now slicing through the middle of the map. Good EMP though, softening up a lot of the Zealots, but no proper follow-up just yet. Looks like Cure actually wants to go on the offensive too. All of the CCs here need to be lifted off. A couple of the Marauders found themselves on the wrong side of that wall. Cure is gonna run on over towards the 3rd Nexus. We have the Zealots in the meantime breaking open the natural and now also getting into the main base. And suddenly there's stuff everywhere. Proxy Nexus as well in the upper left-hand corner. Both players trying to create as much chaos as possible. Oh man, while there are a lot of SCVs dying, the Nexi are dropping like flies. This is Nexus number 3 in under a minute that ends up falling here for Protoss. So he may have a bigger worker count, but he's got no mineral lines to really be harvesting from. The one saving grace right now here for herO is that base in the upper left. Those probes snuck towards the upper left-hand corner. Cure saw them leave, but there were a lot of things going on at the same time. I don't know if he's gonna double check. That's the problem. Most of the time, Protoss would be recalling those probes. So there's a good chance that Cure will just be making that assumption now. I would love to see Cure rebuilding some of his SCV count as well. Yeah, I guess for the time being, he might not really need it, but he's gotta grab himself another base. Oh, hallucinated war prism. herO, you cheeky Protoss. Another Nexus as well on the left side. Bottom base gets rebuilt. We effectively have triple expansion here for Protoss. He knows how busy Cure is going to be. Because of the low eco situation, Cure has decided to not build a planetary fortress here. Normally you always go planetary on this particular expo, but Cure needs the money. He needs the scans. He needs the utility. So he's taking a bit of a risk. Cure has now also found, by the way, the base in the upper left, and he decides just to be 100% safe to scan the one in the bottom right-hand corner. We've smashed our piggy bank, and apparently we're buying a fusion core. It's going to be for the advanced ballistics upgrade. Really good. Look at it, man. Another hallucination. Oh, herO. Yep, EMP successful. That was already a little bit of energy gone, though, out of those ghosts. He's sending forward a bunch of disruptors. Actually, not even that common of a unit in a situation like this. When things are hectic, I mean, disruptors are nice, but they require a lot of babysitting. Liberator count is growing, though, so if Cure can get the ranged upgrade for the libs, if he can get, like, another bunch of them out. Actually, he's got 8. That's really solid. If he can get the advanced ballistics upgrade done, I think this is still a very playable game for him, but herO is still just being so ridiculously aggressive. In the meantime, we have that hit squad over here on the left side of the map once more. Say goodbye to your probes. Large number of zealots and stalkers, though, do get warped in, and it looks to me that most of the Protoss army indeed has now been deflected by that small little medevac drop. I was wondering where it went. Apparently, it's hiding over here in the upper left-hand corner of the map. Dude, an absolute bloodbath in the first game of this series. There's advanced ballistics coming. I would love to see Cure send out like a single liberator around the map. Oh, careful. A liberator around the map to harass this expansion over here at the bottom. Especially with liberator ranged. There's some really juicy positions that will make it nearly impossible for Protoss to break without any sort of sky toss, and making the swip on over to that is pretty much impossible. Good splits right there against the disruptors. Vikings in the meantime also controlled brilliantly. Bunch of zealots over here trying to be mostly a distraction. Big zealot warping as well inside of the main base. Where is herO even getting the money from? Okay. Nexus over at the third base is being rebuilt. I was wondering, actually. Oh, this could be big. Cure is going to lose his +2 armor. In the meantime, though, that medevac drop from previously is indeed going to snipe a bunch more probes. Ultimately, all of those units will go down. But again, that's the second time that that little hit squad of Marines did pull away the entirety of the Protoss army. At this point, Cure actually has 0 gas income. herO, likewise, also does not have any Vespian at all. Wait a second. These guys are just making Zealots and Marines, basically. Like, that's the only real attacking army unit that we can make. Okay. Man, the tone has been set, right? For a best of 5? Beautiful gameplay. These singular medevacs full of Marines, though, have done so much work. Liberators now, by the way, have the advanced ballistics upgrade done. It's really significant. Cure constantly scanning ahead as well, so the libs can actually shoot at their maximum range. And while I don't think that there's a whole lot of damage he can do over here, still going to distract the mining, and he's going to pick up and get on out. Zealots indeed do get through. They slip into the natural expansion. We have some of the army here again getting EMP'd up north. I don't think you can engage anymore, herO. That EMP was so big, Cure could actually choose to, like, chase you down. Cure has not really added on a lot of SCVs after losing so many of them. His army, however, is absolutely humongous. But how do you engage? It's mostly Liberators now. He walks into the Nova there by accident. Liberators against Disruptors. Technically good for the Liberators. But it's so difficult for Terran to reposition their army. While all of this is happening, herO has rounded out his work account to a very respectable 80. He's also now started mining Vespian again, so he can actually get some reasonable, unit compositions going. It's not just going to be Zealots. Still, though, we are still mineral heavy, so we're adding on 2 additional War Prisms. Liberator's trying to slow push. He's trying to see if he can get this army into a corner, but it's going to take so long. And I'm a little bit afraid that while this is all happening, herO's bank is just going to grow. For now, it's still not really much of a problem. But it's just not a real easy army to engage with here for Cure. Yeah, he needs to get a move on, or like double expand himself. He decides to split off his army, go for the Nexus in the upper left. Does he know about the base in the far bottom right? He does not. Very busy though, not trying to look away from his units because we're like 1 Nova away from this game being an absolute disaster. 10 probes end up going down, base in the bottom right. I mean, it's not seen, but it's a reasonable assumption here for Cure to make. Obviously, we have perfect info. In a game like this, though, Cure will have to make some calculated choices. This is very much so unexplored territory. Gravitic Drive, that is War Prism speed. Cure is probably gonna have to deal with some Zealots in the main base momentarily, as the Prism will try to sail by. This is the old main base, actually, trying to get back to safety. If we see a full clash, though, between the 2 armies, I like Cure's unit composition so much more. And that's the thing. Like, maybe economically, upgrade-wise and all that, this game is fine for herO. Actually, speaking of which, herO really should have been on +3 armor at this point for his ground units. He's only on +1. There's the Prisms, by the way. Just like those Marauders from earlier, they're holding wings. Liberators is the best anti-air we've got. It's going to take a while for them to really get the job done. Little Marine hit squad yet again, man, in the far bottom right. That's going to be a lot more probes dying. The main army here of herO is trying to engage, but it can't really find too much. Recall is going to be used yet again. Sorry, lads, you guys did not fit inside of the plane in time. It was the final boarding call. You should have been paying attention. I don't know why you missed it. They've already offloaded your baggage. Warping in the main base is indeed now trading out a bunch of Zealots against Ghosts. Not the end of the world here for Cure, but... oh, Cure has decided to shove forward. EMP's the Nexus, so that means there's no recall available to watch this one. Recall is on cooldown anyways. It doesn't really matter all too much. And you know what? This phenomenal game of Protoss versus Terran seems like it's going to end with a full-on base race. I am getting nerd chills. Recall is on cooldown, so herO can't go home. Likewise, herO doesn't have a Stargate, so Cure could fly command centers to the corner of the map, which would not be reachable. At that point, Cure can potentially force a main engagement between the armies, and I think I like his unit composition a little bit better than the Protoss. That being said, though, he needs to remax out, and that's an issue. A lot of his units are being chipped away at. Disruptors are still scary. SCVs go across the map. There's 1 more mining base over here at the bottom, and then 1 as well on the left. 2 more next side, though, in the upper left-hand corner. Cure's army used to be so much bigger than it is right now, and that really is problematic. 92 supply versus 125 is nice. Bunch of SCVs end up falling. We had the SCVs trying to see if they could join together with the main army composition right over here. One of the old command centers indeed is gonna fly to its death. The old main base burns down as well. Cure is gonna land 1 command center over in the corner of his main base. He's now found the base as well right over here at the bottom. Double hallucinated Colossus going in, and I think it's brilliant because Cure can't really know. He needs to run away from the Purification Novas right now. He needs to engage. He does engage. He takes the bait. He realizes that not all of the Colossi are real. He just sniped the final real Colossus, but I don't think he's got the army anymore. The units simply are not there. And that means it's herO who wins one of the best games of TVP I've seen in some time. Ay, ay, ay. I love StarCraft. That was a brilliant game of TVP. I can't believe herO actually navigated that as well as he did. I can't believe Cure actually made pretty much all the right calls there in the end. Usually herO, he loves playing those chaotic games, right? Like, that's the type of playstyle that he's been executing for many years now, and he does that better than any other Protoss out there. Cure really did go toe-to-toe for a long time. Yeah. Keep in mind, though, that that game could have been over significantly sooner if herO did not hit a supply block when he first went for his Zealot attack. That was at, like, minute 7 or whatever it was. I don't recall exactly when, but that game already was massively in herO's favor. Makes you wonder, though, what it would have looked like if herO, yeah, did not have such a great early game. There's a very real chance that the scoreboard would have been flipped upside down at this point. Either way, game number 2 in this phenomenal series takes us to the map Winter Madness. I think it's about time we cycle this map out, man. It's been bloody hot over here in the Netherlands over the last couple days. From what I understand, it's gonna get way hotter still. Anyhow, Winter Madness, maybe in Australia. Who knows? We need like a spring or like a summer madness at this point. Literally the same map, just a different vibe, different color scheme. I wouldn't even mind it. What do you think about seasonal changes on StarCraft maps? It would actually be kind of cool. I know there have been some RTS games over the last few years where there's like lighting moving around as the map goes longer. So like say it starts off during the daytime, by like minute 30 or whatever, it would be evening. So you can see the light setting on the map. Kind of a cool idea. You could have some randomization built in as well, right? To basically just, yeah, make the maps always look, at least visually, a little bit more unique. Pretty cool idea, I think. As long as the readability doesn't yeah, go down the gutter. Anyways. Reaper harassment yet again. Last time, the very first Reaper that Cure had got 6 probe kills too. That's another big thing, man. If during all of that aggression, herO did not lose that many probes, I think the game also would have looked very different. 6 probes when you have a total of like 40 is just too many. Anyhow, it looks like Cure has got a taste for blood. I think we're proxying a starport. Once more a Marauder opener here. Yep, there it is. Factory is done. herO has not been scouting. We're gonna add on a factory onto the tech lab too, so probably for some Cyclone production. And then in the meantime, on the other side, herO went for a Twilight Council, but rather than going Blink, we're going Dark Shrine. I didn't realize we got tickets to the circus. Let's go. So, Dark Templar are really good, right? Especially when the opponent does not have detection. It's not uncommon for Cure to get a... Oh, he goes for a tech lab over here. Wait a second. Is he gonna go for Banshees? Huh. It's not uncommon for Cure to go for a blind Raven. He does it quite regularly. Just to basically be 100% safe. And obviously, Ravens will indeed be, well, mobile detectors. So that would just shut this type of build down really hard. But obviously now with the starport on the other side of the map and the proxy tech lab as well, we can still build one. But it's very unlikely that Cure is going to do so, because he's going for Banshees here. 2 Banshees is enough to one-shot probes. I would imagine, yep, Cloaking Field as well. So he may actually go like 2 to 3 or so. In the meantime, over on the right side of the map, we have the proxy gate going down to be able to warp in the Dark Templar. Charge on the back of this as well. herO basically has no anti-air, no shield batteries, absolutely no way to deal with Banshees here whatsoever. Likewise, we do not have any detection here for Cure at all. He does have energy for 1 scan in one of the orbitals. He does not have an engineering base, so he cannot rush out... he cannot rush out a missile turret either. Well, here we go. herO is going to be sending in the very first Dark Templar. Not spotted by Cure, it seems. Cure is going to have to use the scan here early on. Secondary Banshee is going to be out here real soon, but already the SCVs are being sliced to bits. So many workers end up falling. It looks like there was one as well inside of the natural. The third DT is going to be joining in just a moment. He wants to wait, man. He was actually a little bit slow, I guess, on the starting of that second Banshee. Wanted to time it together with the Banshee personal cloaking, which is nice and all, but this is just not a timing that really works out favorably for Terran at all. Now, finally, a missile turret gets planted down. We have enough energy here for an orbital command, or for a scan, rather, from the orbital command. Now the Banshees go through, though. And even though this has been a disaster on the side of the Terran, is this still salvageable? Like, how many workers do these Banshees have to kill for this game to be okay? Oh, he's misfiring a bunch. You need to make sure that these are fighting and firing at the same time. Observer now available. He's gonna go for the splits. In the meantime, more and more Dark Templar are just being sent in. Another scan, but that's not going to reveal the ones over here on the low ground. So many probes are falling, but I think this is way too much damage being done here. Cure is falling apart. This is not nearly as clean as what Cure was showing off in the previous game. A whole lot of mistakes made right here by the Terran. But I guess, yeah, at this point, he's probably got a heart rate north of like 160. It does happen. We've seen that at several StarCraft tournaments in the past, where the players are actually asked to play with like a heart rate band on, and it's actually pretty fascinating to see the heart rate spike. Even though they're sitting in a chair, it is not uncommon for them to like go up to like zone 3. And I feel like that was a zone 4 moment right there for Cure. Even though he's sitting in a chair and he's just pressing buttons on a keyboard and clicking things on a mouse. That must have been extremely stressful. So as the dust settles, we did see 16 probes dying. Those Banshees did put in a lot of work. But it's triple Nexus versus 2 CCs. And Cure just lost so many workers of his own. Beautiful game yet again, though. herO really managing the crisis nicely. Hitting a supply block once more. You love to see it. I feel like... So we had this with the EWC last year. I feel like the most noteworthy thing, and obviously you gotta take those types of stats with a grain of salt, right? Because you never really know how accurate, especially heart rate monitors on your wrist can really be. But I found it very interesting that the absolute top performers, like herO and Maru, for example, consistently had a very low heart rate. Even in like very stressful scenarios, I don't remember seeing them go over like 110, 120 or so, which is still a lot. But it was like a good like 20 beats less than the competition. SCVs are going to be pulled here to try and stop the Zealot charge in. Even if this does get cleaned up, which I'm not entirely sure about. I think a potential counterattack is just going to be held. And with this many SCVs dying, it is just making things even worse here for Cure. Yeah, I think he can just go home, herO. herO doesn't just want to go home. Nah, this is his home now. The little bit of mining that Cure is getting, well, I think it's going to be cleaned up. SCVs got pulled from the main base on a tech move, and they got intercepted by a small group of Zealots. And that means that Cure is now fully all in with just this alone. Raven leading this party way too far forward. And of course, well, the only thing left right now for herO is to A-move. Mispositioned Siege Tank, mispositioned Raven, mispositioned Terran Army in general. 16 additional SCVs end up dying, and while Cure is trying his best to make this look close, this should be the easiest cleanup of herO's life. Siege Tanks will die, Raven is gone, GG gets called, herO gets a second point on the board. Next up, 10,000 feet. Cure has decided to take matters into his own hands. No more shenanigans. No more bullying. The best thing to fight a bully is to bully back. That's... anyways, that's what Cure has interpreted in this particular series. Is it true? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah, hard to say. All right, proxy gates. And with gates, I mean barracks. Proxy Rex. Out in the middle of the map. herO did go for the really quick probe scout. So he will notice at this point the lack of anything. But he's a bully, right? And do you think that herO believes Cure is gonna bully him back? Yeah, he's actually checking for just what we used to call a Maca Rex. a barracks close to the side of the Terran, but not actually proxied on the other side of the map. He is checking, though, at home. The most likely locations are indeed right over here. He's going to check as well at his expansion down on the low ground. Won't find anything there. It's going to be proxy marauders. Man, herO really loves his marauders here. Probe as well on the left side, scouting around. herO is ultimately going to... No, he does not find it! Oh, no. Nexus gets planted down. After a cybercore, to be fair. herO may still see this, but it's so incredibly late now. Oh, dude. He's checked everything. Finally, will we scout it? It's a bit of a disaster already, though. We're gonna need to have a bunch of shield batteries and a lot of production here ASAP. Stalker is gonna get chronoed out. That's nice and all. But what we really need is more stuff. Yep, concussive shell gets started up. Double marauders as well. And I think this is just about perfect for herO. I mean, it would be better to not get scouted at all. But the thing about having 2 probes out on the map looking for proxies is that obviously you do lose a lot of mining as well as the Protoss. Like, that's like 15% of your total income just dedicated to scouting. I would imagine we commit as soon as concussive shells is done. We have 2 more marauders just about to spawn. I think you go with this one. I think you gotta go right now. Yeah, you gotta go, man. Like, you cannot let Protoss build up too much stuff. He decided to wait. Oh, that's why we're waiting too. I didn't yet notice the movement on the minimap. We are turning this all-in into an even all-inner version. Fair enough. There's no giving up now. There is no way to come back. Stalkers are gonna get surrounded. Zealot did kill one of the marauders, actually. A lot of shield batteries being set up. Oh, no. The loving embrace of the workers. Concussive shells, I mean, they're going to be nice for now. They'll be really nice, though, when all of these shield batteries run out of juice. And you know what? It seems like the shield batteries don't quite heal fast enough. Man, what in the world is even happening here? So the shield batteries are now mostly out. And while this did look like it was a reasonable defense initially for herO, I think it's a bit of a disaster now. Yep, all of the defensive setup has been right over here on the low ground. Okay, force field is nice, but the Terran units are already inside of the main base. Huh? I mean, all herO is really looking for is a defense, right? Like, he doesn't really need much more. Just any form of defense is good enough. But the Marauders just pack such a punch. He decides to go down to the low ground because the shield batteries have regened a little bit. But right now, the single target fire right there by herO is going to be enough to out DPS the healing. And that means that our Terran herO gets a point on the scoreboard. Wait a second. We find ourselves on the Ruby Rock. It's not a second SCV moving out. It's once more a really quick probe here, though, for herO. It seems that herO indeed is... I mean, I like how I introduced him as a turtley player. The first game was long, but there was no turtling at all. I take back anything I have ever said about herO. herO has decided that, at least against herO, the more turtley approach is clearly not the way forward. Double gas right now, though, for the Terran. And that is something herO will be scouting immediately. That's a guarantee that there is a barracks out there somewhere. But really, I think what herO is going to do is also proxy a factory. I would be very surprised if it's just going to be a single Rex over here. I mean, it could be. But, I mean, I guess you get the Reaper across pretty quick. Is that really worth it? Yeah, it might be. Nope, we're going Reactor. Okay. I believe this is when people that are younger than me say, just let him cook. Right after they call me Unk. For real, like low-key. I've actually recently learned a couple of days ago that people apparently write low-key as this. Low-K. And I've seen this written down in my Discord server many times. And apparently my ego is so big that every time I see somebody write low-key like this, I thought they were talking about me, because anyways, it's just one letter off Lowko. It turns out they didn't give a no, I was just there. You should join the Discord, by the way. Discord.gg/LowkoTV. Anyways, Stargate here for herO now. Stargate built against this. Whatever this is, really. Whatever this abomination is that herO is currently planting here on the other side of the map. herO's still scouting. Trying to figure out whether or not it's safe. He did make a zealot here, but he did not yet see what's happening all the way up north. But the thing is, this is now herO not even committing to a low ground expo just yet. The norm is to go 20 supply Cybercore and Nexus, roughly. And this is the perfect unit. Normally, I make fun of people that go Void Ray first. It's a very strong Silver League strategy. But it's perfect now. This is the Jack of all trades unit, right? Like, herO hasn't seen a Nexus, or a Command Center, rather. He hasn't seen a Barracks. He doesn't know exactly what he's playing against. But he did see the timing of the double gas. And it's a huge indicator that there is some sort of Terran aggression heading his way. We have some Marines, we have a Siege Tank, we have a Medevac. herO just trying to be a bit of a nuisance for now with just his little hit squad of units. But one base versus one base, I think I'm going to be favoring the man with the shield battery. Kira's just going to commit to one push. Are we going to go into the main? Is that the plan? Is the Medevac here for healing or repositioning or high ground vision? I don't think I like this very much here for Kira, honestly. Yeah, okay. So this is really nice if the opponent has an expo. But in this instance, it really isn't. We're gonna make the... Oh, my lord. Okay, we're gonna make the beam thick, and that's the end of the Medevac right there. Perfect. Perfect here for herO. Now suddenly those Marines are trapped. They are outranged by the laser beams. And as the supply depot falls on the other side of the map and the SCVs have been taking a beating, herO backs up to the safety of the shield battery. And I think that this is pretty much all she wrote for Cure. Dude, I can't believe that this is ending with a bunch of Void Rays up in the air. Yeah, this is an absolute disaster. So what did herO do this game? He went for a probe scout right at the very beginning of the game. In every single one of these matches. And that's huge. GG gets gold. It is herO who indeed wins the second semifinals of the first season of the GSL this year, and that means that he moves on to the Grand Finals. I will definitely be casting the Grand Finals as well, so if you aren't subscribed already, make sure you do so you get notified as soon as that cast goes live. Gotta say, the semifinals, though, the other one as well, was just incredible. That was Shin going up against Maru. Absolute banger of StarCraft. If the Grand Finals is even like half as cool as both of the semifinals have been, I think we are in for a treat. GG.